when the reason that your inner being, this is a good way of looking at it, because anytime you're wanting to understand how you can uplift or be of value to another, you can look at your own inner being as a very good guide or teacher in that. So when you feel negative emotion, the reason you feel negative emotion is because you're thinking a thought that your inner being does not think. And so you have chosen a vibration that your inner being does not choose. In other words, you're not really connecting with your inner being when you feel negative emotion. And your inner being doesn't say to you, oh, I want so much to connect with you that I'll join you in this same negative thought so that we can connect.
Right.
In other words, your inner being remains in its place of pure positive energy. And if you want to connect with your inner being, you do. But your inner being does not try to change its vibration. And that's what makes your inner being your source energy. That's what makes it God force. It stays in that pure positive place, you see. And so what you're wanting to do is to maintain your connection, and then in doing so, evoke the very best of everyone to join you in your connection. Well, what happens with someone who comes forth who is different from the norm, so to speak? They are encountered with person after person who demands that they artificially do something that nobody can do in order to try to achieve a connection that is false. You know that. You can feel that it isn't. And so every now and again, someone comes forth like this 14-year-old girl that you were talking about, who is determined that she's not going to adjust her vibration all over the place just to satisfy people who want to connect with her on many, many levels. So whether you see it or not, she is much more consistently connected to source energy than almost anyone would understand. But people see her as trouble or problematic because she won't do the things that they think they need her to do so that they can feel better. So when someone like you decides that you're going to connect with someone like this, it's an easier task than you think. It involves you just staying connected to source energy no matter what, which means what it boils down to in this situation is you've got to soothe yourself into feeling satisfaction about what you want, regardless about how things appear. The emotional journey is standing right where I stand on this subject, with the girl seeming like she's not coming along, or with me not understanding whether she is or not, and soothing myself into a place of feeling better or feeling good anyway. So the sorts of words that you might say in order to soothe yourself would be, well, I'm probably connecting with her even better than I realize. And my desire to connect with her is very satisfying and good feeling to me. And I don't have to rush this. And if it is important or of value to her, she will be inspired or guided to join me. And I see her as someone who is doing just fine. She doesn't need to change anything for me. I can feel that she came into this physical body with very powerful intentions. And I admire anyone who has intentions that are that strong, that carry over into a physical experience. And I am grateful that there are teachers like this that help all of us to learn that we must adjust our vibration into well-being without them jumping through hoops to make us feel better. And the very fact that she won't show me that she's wanting to connect with me is the same thing. In other words, me needing her to show me that she's connecting with me is the same thing as others needing her to show them that she's willing to try to change her behavior in order to please them. In other words, she's teaching me, only the difference between me and most of them is that I am understanding that she's not flawed or broken in some way. You see?
I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
So watch what happens as you take her as she is. Now, what did we just say? All day here and every day, as we are visiting with our physical friends, we are wanting to help you to relax and accept what is and just go with it. Now, here we have a good opportunity for this, don't we? We had a nice, quiet morning. It was really comfortable to interact, and now we have something different from that going on next door. It's bad enough that it's a meeting, but they're singing, for God's sakes. So we can tense against it. We can fuss about it. We can acknowledge that it shouldn't be, and that the hotel should know better, and that they should build more soundproof rooms, and they shouldn't set us up for something like this. In other words, we can justify and be right about all of that and not do anything about adjusting the way we feel right here and now. We really can't change it. In other words, we can't throw them out, and we can't cut off their sound system. Well, maybe. And we can't ask them to leave, and we can't get the hotel to promise not to ever even do it again. In other words, it is a condition that, as far as the creation of these two groups is concerned, is manifesting. So at this point, we can't change it. But what can we do? We have the choice of feeling uncomfortable in the situation, or we have the choice of soothing ourselves in the situation. Now, children are born with autism to teach you that it's not your job to change the condition in order to feel better. They are born under those conditions to help you to understand that you have the facility to take what is and adjust to it in a way that you don't suffer. So, can you hear it all? Well, we're not talking right now. What we are talking about is, it's a perfect example of, in other words, we could all throw a fit. We could feel the injustice of the situation that someone has put us in. We could condemn whoever was involved in arranging whatever they were arranging. We could point fingers all over the place. But what happens as you come forth into these physical bodies is that you share your space with lots of others who have other intentions. And they have an intention for their meeting and the way they like it to go that has been set forth with as much clarity and decision as this intention for this meeting. And if we decide that our meeting is now negatively affected by something that's happening over there, and that in order for us to get back on track, something over there has to change, then we would have a wasted afternoon, because we can't bring that about. And what we're wanting everyone to come to the place of realizing is that creation is about soothing myself, soothing myself, soothing myself here and now. So, do we need more volume from this microphone? Can you hear all right? More volume? Can you give us more volume? And does it require more concentration on your part to listen to what's being said? Does it require a stronger determination to get what's going on here? Does it require a willingness to acknowledge that there's nothing wrong going on over here, and that under interesting conditions you hear all kinds of things? Have you ever watched television while your children are crying and not miss one thing on the television? Have you ever been in a restaurant with hundreds of people talking so much that there's a din, and all you do is get closer and raise your voices, and it doesn't diminish the fact that you are then able to interact? Now, what is going on here?
Someone's in the back room trying to adjust the sound.
Oh, good. So, it's working already. Although we've gotten a little shrill. So you get the sense of what we're talking about? It's important to say, under any and all conditions, I'm going to relax where I am and make the best of what is. And in making the best of what is, then I don't lose my connection. In making the best of what is, I stay aligned with source energy. And in the making the best of what is, I prepave continuing good conditions into my future experience. But the most important thing about making the best of what is, this is the gift that the autistic children bring. The most important thing of making the best of what is I am free then under any and all conditions. And it is our promise to you that the only thing that ever makes you feel not free is the feeling that something bad is happening that you can't do anything about. And when you discover that you can adjust your feeling no matter what's happening, then you are freed from the fear that something bad's going to happen. You get the sense of it. Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.